being a shepherd. It's what my father did, it's what his father did, it's what his father did, and it's all I've ever known. I remember when I was just a little boy, my dad would let me play with the sheep. So I don't know if it was that he didn't mind or it was that I was persistent, but I just loved playing, especially the little ones, because I could actually wrestle them down and I could win. If I was playing with the big ones, then I would lose, and I didn't like that. But I just love being a shepherd. Now I'm older and I have my own flock, and I realize these are my sheep. I love my sheep. And they might not always get it together, they might always get it right, but I love them. And it was just last week that this big storm just hit where my sheep were. And the storm came in, and so I thought, well, it's getting to be nighttime, might as well bring everybody home. And so I just corralled everybody was coming with me, everything was fine. We get to the shelter and we stop. I said, well, it looks like a good time to go to sleep. There's a storm coming in. It sounds, when you're sleeping and there's a storm coming in, you can just sleep so peacefully. But then something stopped me. And I said, why don't I just count the sheep? This might sound really random, but I have 100 sheep. It's a lot of sheep. And counting them, sometimes it's hard, but I love my sheep, so why not go back in? I came back to the shelter, I opened it, I turned the light on, made a fire, lit a torch, and I started counting. And I'm counting 99. Okay, no big deal. Human error. Sometimes it happens. Let's count again. 99. By now I'm getting a little worried because there's 99 sheep in here, but I have 100. And so I count one more time. And I get to the very last one, still 99. To you, they might just be sheep, but to me, they have a name. And so I start just naming them off, everyone that I can think of, and I realized who was missing. See, all day long, one of my little buddies, one of the youngest sheep, he has not been the best today. All day long he's been giving me trouble. All day long he's been trying to run away. But then he always comes back in. And then he runs back away. And I have to keep calling him. His name's Bucky, so I'm always, come on, Bucky. You're almost there. Come on, buddy. You got this. And he'll be running away. And I'm, no, Bucky, come back in. Stay with the flock. And so by this point, I'm scared for Bucky because he's little. He doesn't know what to do. He's out there. The storm's coming in. It's getting louder and louder. There's more thunder. There's more lightning. And he's by himself. It's raining. It's cold. And so I call my servant and I say, hey, come down. Come down. I told him everything was happening. I told him Bucky was gone. And so I told him, you wait here with the 99. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go find my one little sheep that's lost. I will bring him back. And so he said, okay, yes, sir. And he stayed with the 99. And I got the torch and I started walking out. And I started walking out into a storm. But that didn't matter because I had a lost sheep that was somewhere out there and I had to get him. And so I'm walking out and I'm calling him, hey, Bucky! Bucky, I go back to where the sheep were all day. Maybe he got left behind. It happens sometimes. So I call him, Bucky! And nothing. So I said, well, maybe if I look by where the river is. And so I go on down to the river and I'm calling for him, Bucky! Bucky! I'm drenched, I'm all wet, I'm really cold, my light's going out, I can't find my sheep, it's really late at night, there's a storm coming in, but it doesn't matter because I have a lost sheep somewhere out there and I have to find him. He's one of mine and I have to find him. And so I keep calling him Bucky, and then it sinks in. What if a lion got to him? What if a bear got to him? But that doesn't stop me because he's my sheep and I'm going to find him. And so I go to the hills and I call for him, Bucky! Bucky! And nothing. The storm gets bigger. The wind's howling. That's all I can hear. The thunder's roaring really loudly. And so I look up to the hill and I say, well, maybe if I go up the mountain, maybe he'll be up there. And so I start climbing up the mountain. While I'm climbing, something sticks me, and I look down and there's thorns that are all on my clothing. And as I try to get loose, they rip my skin, and I'm hurt now. So I'm hurt, I'm cold, I'm wet, my light's going out, I'm in the middle of a storm, I don't know where my lost sheep is, but I'm going to find him because he is mine, and I will get him. And so I start calling, Bucky! Now I'm in the mountains, I'm going through trees, I'm going through the brush, calling, Bucky! And all of a sudden, I heard really faintly, somewhere in the distance, I heard Bucky. It wasn't loud, so I knew it was far. And so I just kept calling, Bucky, Bucky, and I started climbing more up the mountain, more up the mountain. And I got to the very edge of the cliff. And I'm calling him, Bucky, and I hear him. But I can't see him. My light's almost out. And I can't see him. And at that moment, lightning flashes. And I look down. And right at the very edge of the cliff, there's Bucky. His wool had gotten stuck on some brushes. And he was in the thorns. And he was stuck and he was hurting. And so I get down and I look at him. And he's really scared. He looks at me. And all I could think was, I'm here, buddy. It's okay, I got you. I will get you out of this. And so I put my hands down. And at that moment, I heard a lion. And so now not only is Bucky scared, I'm scared. There's a lion somewhere, and it's coming towards me. And so I stick my hands in the thorns, but when I did that, my hands got all cut. And so as I stick my hands in, I start pulling him out little by little. I don't want him to get hurt, and he's already scared. And so little by little, as this lion is coming towards me, and I finally get him free, and I put him on my shoulders. And I tell him, I got you, buddy. It's gonna be okay. And we start making the long journey back home. I'm wet, I'm bleeding, it's cold, it's raining, but none of that mattered. Because at that moment, all that mattered is that I finally found my lost sheep. And he was finally with me.